ever for the New York Yankees. El Duque started and got a win, while Andy Pettitte followed and looked sharp for 3 innings. Then, with a 6-1 lead, Mariano Rivera turned it on in the ninth. And when it was over, the men in pinstripes became the first ever American League team to enjoy 112 wins in a season. A remarkable night for a remarkable team that has 2 more games to play with Tampa Bay. A 20th win has eluded David Cone recently, and he'll start in this game. Depending on how things go, maybe he'll get there, and maybe Bernie Williams can help him. Is the network for New York Yankees baseball, and we welcome you returning. Ah, shit. Sorry. Go with this. For New York Yankees baseball, and today with only 2 games to go, it's the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in the most historic place in sports. Terrell will start for the Tampa Bay team, still looking for its first ever win in the Bronx, while the Yankees will try to see if they can get David Cone a 20th win. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Al Trowick. Welcome to our coverage of the 1998 New York Yankees here on MSG. Yesterday, just another one of the special nights that we have shared with this team throughout this very successful season. No American League team prior to last night had recorded a 112th win, as we mentioned moments ago, and the Yankees were able to come through for El Duque early. A big inning, Derek Jeter providing one of the highlights. He got hits numbers 200 and 201. That's a landmark for any hitter. And then Mariano Rivera came in and closed it out. The Yankees won the ball game 6-1. And there stands Joe Torre, all alone, atop all the teams that in all the years that have tried to beat the 1954 Cleveland Indians. Still the 1906 Cubs, but that's the National League mark. The Yankees record is now 112 and 48. With 2 games to go. And to talk about game number 161, let's go upstairs to Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. Guys?
Well, thanks a lot, Al. What can we talk about? What more can this team do? Maybe there's a couple of items of unfinished business. Bernie Williams still trying to win the batting title, and David Cone gets a chance to win his 20th game.
Well, we saw El Duque go 5 innings last night and pick up a victory, number 12 on the year. Maybe the same thing can happen to David Cone this afternoon. David Cone's had an outstanding year, looking for win number 20, as Kitty mentioned. And you go back to an earlier stretch this season, David Cone had a stretch where he won 9 consecutive decisions. He had excellent pitching during that time. In one of those contests, he had 13 strikeouts against the Florida Marlins in interleague play, and David Cone trying to cap off a tremendous season, one in which he's bounced back from shoulder surgery.
Who would have thought with that surgery he would have gone over the 200-inning mark? 201 strikeouts, and if he wins 20 games today, it would be an all-time record. 10 years since David Cone won 20 games for the Mets. So his final tune-up for Game 3 of the Division Series. We'll have it for you on MSG when we come back.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you by the irresistible taste that makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers.
Welcome to late afternoon baseball at Yankee Stadium. David Cone in search of his 20th win, and we want to take this opportunity to welcome our St. Louis audience. Bonus coverage provided by FX, and I know you're used to seeing records set in St. Louis with Mark McGwire's home run outburst this year. The Yankees last night an all-time American League record of 112 wins, so they will look for their 113th win today. David Cone for his 20th, and here's the Tampa Bay Devil Ray lineup that has been posted, brought to you by Bob Stores. Great buys on brands you wear. Quentin McCracken, Aaron Ledesma, Bobby Smith at the top. Then the veteran Fred McGriff will DH today. Bubba Trammell, Paul Sereno, Rich Butler, Miguel Cairo, and John Flaherty bats ninth.
Offensively for the Yankees this afternoon behind David Cone here at the stadium. It's going to be Brocious, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez. No surprises in the infield. In the outfield, it's going to be Spencer, Williams, and O'Neill. Girardi doing the catching, as he always does for David Cone. As we're going to look at the young man out in left field, Shane Spencer, who's been quite a surprise with the bat, to say the least. We speculated that has there ever been a rookie who's won Player of the Month,
or Player of the Week, or World Series MVP, or something like that? But we were kind of fantasizing before the game today that if the Yankees would go to the World Series and play the Houston Astros, and the Yankees would have to look at Randy Johnson, Shane Spencer could suddenly become quite a force in the World Series. Remarkable year for David Cone, coming off that surgery, and for the first time since 1993, he's gone over the 200 inning mark with a strikeout per inning. And just from a business note standpoint, that 200 innings assures his contract for 1999 with the Yankees. He will be on a pitch count today. Joe Torre, Mel Stottlemyre would love to have him work a nice economical 5 innings and get an opportunity to win 20, but if that doesn't happen, they will keep the pitch count down. He will come back on Friday night against either the Cleveland Indians or Texas Rangers. That spot's still up for grabs.
Yeah, they'd like to see him have the same kind of performance that Orlando Hernandez El Duque had last night, picked up a win.
That's high for a ball to Quentin McCracken. Nice year in this inaugural season for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. 7 homers, 59 RBIs. High again, 2-0.
Well, right away you see late afternoon here, getting into fall, and the shadows come into play here at the stadium. And it might be a little difficult for the hitters to pick up the ball, at least for the first few innings.
It is a dreadful starting time from a player's standpoint. Television doesn't look at it that way, but we saw what happened to Brant Brown. He didn't make an excuse, but in Milwaukee, late afternoon, the fall sun, boy, it can give outfielders some problems.
And the same thing for Shane Spencer. You can see he has the sunglasses on. It's not the flip kind. They're just on.
Yeah, that's the tough field right now. O'Neill's in shadows in right. Breaking ball popped up. Brocious had difficulty finding that one. Girardi near the Tampa Bay dugout puts it away. There's an example of it. Scott Brocious barely saw that ball come off the bat. Let's check out our umpire lineup today, brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation. Most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Brian O'Nora's behind the plate. John Shulak, Rick Reed, and Tim Cheetah. Each one will get a chance to umpire behind the plate in this series, as it is a 4-gamer. Here's the ex-Met, Aaron Ledesma. In for a strike. Don't know where his loyalty is, but his Mets are down to their last inning in Atlanta, trailing 4-0. Breaking ball high, 1-1.
And David Cone's had one start this year against the Devil Rays, and he beat them in Florida on July the 11th. An excellent outing.
Good breaking ball there, 1-2.
8 innings, 8 strikeouts, only 3 hits. The Yankees won 2-0. And Mariano Rivera came on and got the save in that game.
Mentioned last night that Andy Pettitte may not have been pitching to the weaknesses of the Tampa Bay lineup as much as just being comfortable with his own pitches, and I think that's the way David Cone will approach this. Just missed, 2-2. As a pitcher, you just want to make sure, and Andy referred to this in our post-game coverage with Al Troutwig, you want to make sure that you've thrown all your pitches, you feel good about that, about the stuff being there and the control. Missed again. The count is full. Still no official word from Joe Torre, but it appears that Andy Pettitte would start game 2 of the division series after Wells starts game 1. Got him on that sharp breaking ball. Ledesma down on strikes. 2 down in the Tampa Bay first.
2 fastballs in, followed by a breaking ball and a strikeout for David Cone. One of the things we've noted all season long, his breaking ball has been outstanding and very tough on right-handed hitters. This is going to look like the previous two pitches until it just gets to that corner, then breaks away, and Ledesma is struck out. Yeah, this is about as close as you can get to a spring training game and have it count.
Bobby Smith takes strike one. Count for David Cone and for Bernie Williams. He'd like to win that batting title. From a team standpoint, the Yankees have set the record. There's no way they're going to catch the 1906 Cubs. 1-1 to Smith. Devil Rays impressed with his ability at third base. Good athlete, just having a tough time making consistent contact. Excellent throwing arm. Towards second base. Knobloch is there. He'll toss out Bobby Smith, and David Cone has a very economical 1-2-3 inning. Yankees coming to bat against lefty Terrell Wade when we come back to the stadium.
They look unstoppable.
Hit deep to right. A grand slam home run for Bernie Williams.
The Yanks wrap up the regular season against the Devil Rays at the New York City Marriott Scorecard tomorrow on MSG.
Plenty of banners, lots of Yankee fans in this late afternoon 161st game of the season. What a season it's been for the Yankees. Yeah, best team on the planet. Certainly as Paul O'Neill said on our scorecard show, as we selected him our Yankee of the Year, when they look back in 10 years at what this team has accomplished, it will have a special place in baseball history. Big Terrell Wade, 6'3", 205 pounds, ex-Atlanta Brave that the Devil Rays picked up. He has missed most of the season after some arm surgery. Here's the lineup he'll face, brought to you by Bob's Stores. Chuck Knobloch, Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill. Bernie Williams trying to hang on to his lead in the batting race. Tino Martinez, Chili Davis, and the hot-hitting Shane Spencer batting seventh, and Scott Brocious and Joe Girardi.
Let's check out the Devil Rays on defense. In the infield, it's going to be Smith, Ledesma, Cairo, and Sorrento. In the outfield, Trammell, McCracken, and Butler. John Flaherty behind the plate for Terrell Wade. Paul Sorrento is highlighted. It's the first time we've seen him at first base. It's been Fred McGriff, but McGriff will be DHing this afternoon. Semi-day off for the veteran.
Chuck Knobloch steps in. In Minnesota, when he came up, they called Paul Sorrento the Babe because he can turn on a fastball as well as anyone. That's in for a strike, but as is the case here in Tampa Bay, and when he was at Cleveland and Seattle, he is known more for his hitting than his fielding ability. There's the line on Wade. You can see he's missed most of the season. Started a couple games in Durham, their AAA team, but he pitched 5 innings and picked up a win in his last start.
Yankee fans might remember Terrell Wade from the World Series in 1996. Made 2 appearances for Atlanta against the Yankees. Mentioned the shoulder surgery this year. He's had elbow surgery in the past, so maybe this guy will be a late bloomer, start to come on now that his arm is healthy.
Just 25 years old. He was 5-0 with the Braves in 1996, but with all the pitching they had, there just wasn't room for him, and Tampa Bay was able to pick him up in the expansion draft. Field's going to drop in for a base hit. Good start for Chuck Knobloch, who got shut out in last night's ball game.
Well, Chuck made some fans happy. Got that sign together, bring it out to the ballpark, hoping they could use it. And right for the first inning, Knobloch dumps one into left field for a base hit, and he's aboard for Derek Jeter. Speed on first. Speed at the plate.
One of our top candidates for Yankee of the Year certainly was Derek Jeter because of those numbers, the batting average, home runs, RBIs, as well as his ability to play shortstop and the speed he brings to the lineup. Toward Ledesma. This should be an easy 2, and it is. Hit sharply, and the Devil Rays turn the double play. 2 quick outs here in the Yankee first.
Wade was known with the Braves more as a strikeout pitcher than a double play pitcher. Surgeries, elbow and shoulder. One-time Brave 5th starter, coming off a win in his only start this year. So Terrell Wade might be a part of this Devil Ray rotation next year, or get a good shot in spring training.
Along with Rolando Arrojo, if he comes back from arm injuries. That's the way the Devil Rays have built their team in the first year, trying to concentrate on pitching. Here is our MSG Yankee of the Year, Paul O'Neill. Sharply towards second base. Cairo is there. Didn't even get a chance to talk about all his accomplishments, but we will. He'll have another at bat. One quick inning here at Yankee Stadium. No score. David Cone in quest of his 20th. Back after this.
With the update, and the Mets don't control their own destiny anymore. They desperately needed a win, and they don't get it. Here's the final out. Todd Hundley goes down swinging. The Mets are shut out by Atlanta 4-0, and the Giants are leading the Rockies 6-1. Let's go back to
Thanks for that update, Deb, as Fred McGriff takes strike one from David Cone. So the Mets will be down to their last gasp tomorrow, with the Giants a comfortable lead over Colorado 6-1. Cubs and Astros just underway. 1-1 to the veteran Fred McGriff.
I don't know how much of a comfortable lead you could have at Coors Field.
Isn't that the truth? That's outside. 2-1. You saw the home run total, 19. If McGriff gets one today or tomorrow, that would put him in a pretty select group with 20 home runs in 12 consecutive seasons. Looked like the splitter. And Cone ahead in the count, 1-2.
Well, McGriff trying to close off the year on a hot streak. Had a 7-game hitting streak snapped in last night's ball game.
Good swing there, fouled straight back. And it's still 2-2.
McGriff and, of course, Wade Boggs bringing a veteran presence to this team, and some guys who had some solid numbers in the past. And both have had pretty good years.
Cone thought he might have had that one. A little low, said Brian O'Nora, and the count is full. Boggs average at 280, and he's 78 hits shy of the 3,000 mark.
Here's a look at that last pitch, going for the back door.
Got him with that one. Looked like the good splitter. Cone off to a good start here. Has retired the first 4 Devil Rays, and that's his second strikeout.
Well, we talked about David Cone working on all of his pitches, and all of them are quality type. There's a splitter down and away. You saw a breaking ball before that. It had a lot of bite to it. So his quality breaking balls, along with a fastball that he gets up there 91, 92 miles an hour, and plus keeping the ball down, that's what has made a Cone effective all season long.
And the first pitch to Bubba Trammell. He's been DH. Today he plays left field and takes ball 1. On the edge, 1-1. Charlie Hayes, 2-run homer, the ex-Yankee for the Giants. That's helped them out to the 6-1 lead. And sometime today in a major league ballpark, the 5,000th home run of the year will be hit. That's an all-time high. That's in for strike 1 and 2, and that's expected because there's more teams now. Ratio-wise, 1987, actually 1996 was the highest home runs per game ratio, then 87, and now 98 is third on that list. Jeter, nice backhand throw. Watch this throw. Plenty. Made it look easy. 2 down in the Tampa Bay second.
You know, one thing about a shortstop and a second baseman, they can see the signs from the catcher, and sometimes they will lean in the direction where they think the hitter's going to hit the ball. Now, if it was an off-speed pitch, looked like a splitter. Trammell pulls it, but Jeter, maybe leaning a little bit to his right, is able to get to the ball, then come up with that strong arm from the outfield grass. Nothing to it. Right there for Tino Martinez, and 2 down here in the second.
Our St. Louis audience, accustomed to seeing Ozzie Smith make some acrobatic plays for years. Jeter is not in that class as far as the sensational acrobatic type plays, but boy, is he smooth. Like you pointed out, outfield grass, and with that strong arm, got him by plenty.
I think that's where he outshines Ozzie Smith, with the arm.
Breaking ball into Sorrento, 1-1. Well, and now, of course, when Ozzie Smith was in his prime and Omar Vizquel for Cleveland, they are the fielding gems of the shortstop crop. But that position is changing. It's off the corner 2-1. Now you've got Garcia Parra, Jeter, Alex Rodriguez. Not only play well in the field, but they're turning shortstop into a hitting position. Boy, is Cone sharp early. He knows he's on a pitch count, and he's going to breeze through these first 5 as quickly as he can, not wasting a lot of pitches. Got him backdoor breaking ball. 6 in a row, 3 of them strikeouts. David Cone is sharp in his tune-up for postseason play. Yankees coming to bat when we come back. Well, it might not be on the bridge, but they're running smoothly here at the stadium. Yankee baseball brought to you in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
That's the McCombs Dam Bridge crossing over from the Bronx into Manhattan. And either people coming, trying to get into the stadium a little bit late.
You know where they're going. They heard the Giants are going to postseason play. They're heading for the Polo Grounds.
Yeah.
In that wild card race in the National League, the Giants lead the Rockies 6-2 in the 5th inning. As Bernie Williams steps in, popping up the first pitch into short center field. Cairo and McCracken converge, and Miguel Cairo, the second baseman, makes the grab. 1 quick out. Bernie will need 1 hit today to maintain that lead in the batting race.
One thing you notice, the Yankees are swinging at a lot of first pitches. I think Terrell Wade, here it is. I got a good fastball. Let's see if you can hit it.
That's all the hitters do. I mean, realistically, folks, there's not a lot at stake here other than some individual things. These guys just want to get a couple of good swings in and hope that Tuesday gets here to hurry. That's what they have their sights on. The consistent numbers of Tino Martinez. That's in for a strike. "25 years old, the big left-hander out of South Carolina. Nice breaking ball there. And with Tony Saunders, good pitching prospect, Anna Rojo, and Terrell Wade, the Devil Rays hoping to put an injury-free and a solid pitching staff together for 1999.
You know that the manager, Larry Rothschild, has that sort of background as a former pitching coach. Well, he saw a pretty good pitching staff last year in Florida, didn't he?
Popped up. Flaherty, the catcher, looks like he's got room, and he wobbles under it, makes the basket catch. The native New Yorker John Flaherty puts it away, and that's 2 down in the Yankees' second.
Here's a look at it. Now remember, as Kitty mentioned, you go downhill towards the stands here, so sometimes you see the catchers with a few missteps, but he makes the play here, and there's 2 outs. One more look. He checked to see where he was, and the Willie Mays type catch.
That'll bring up Chili Davis. First pitch swinging. Wade is pointing, but who's going to call it? Ledesma, the shortstop. Well, that was a nice quick inning for Terrell Wade and the Devil Rays. We've played 2. No score here at the stadium. Back on MSG after this. Fans don't know what they're missing heading north on the Deegan. Yankee baseball brought to you in part by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. That's what you can sense these players are saying, particularly the Yankees with the big game coming up too. Right back to Cone, and let's see where that got him. Oh boy. You hope it's anywhere but the pitching arm or hand. And I think it was. I think it was just to knock the wind out of him type of one-hopper.
Well, he's walking around. That's a good sign. And it looks like he'll be able to shake it off. But you know that's the last thing the Yankees need at this point, an injury to any one of their starters. or just one of their valuable role players. Let's take a look at this now. It's a solid shot off the bat of Rich Butler, a one-hop comebacker, and it's hard to tell where it got David Cone on that angle, whether it was the stomach or the forearm or the knee or whatever.
He's made no indication to show that it hit him in the pitching arm.
Here's another look at it. Let's see if we can determine.
Now, I think that got him just right in the stomach. Knocked the wind out of him briefly.
I thought I saw him point to his chest area on the mound. Now, you know, he's bending over to make the play, and maybe the ball came up and hit him in the chest and knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah, he'll have Dr. Gene Buting's autograph on his chest for a couple of days, but better there than anywhere near that pitching arm or hand. Now the smile tells you everything's okay, and a big sigh of relief not only for David Cone but for the Yankees and their fans. So 7 in a row now that Cone has sent down. And here's Miguel Cairo. He's had a pretty solid season for these Devil Rays. You mentioned at one time the Cubs had hopes for him being their regular second baseman.
Cairo second among American League rookies in doubles with 25. And has played a pretty solid second base.
Pitch high for a ball. Picked up the only RBI the Devil Rays had last night. That's fouled out of play again for the benefit of the Midwest audience. Doesn't see a lot of American League games. The Devil Rays are down near the bottom in most hitting categories. They don't hit many home runs. They don't score a lot. So when you see their offensive numbers, it's the way they put this team together. They're looking for pitching. In the air to right, O'Neill with a late start near the line is trying to make a diving grab and won't get there. This will drop into the seats. That is a Yankee Stadium ground rule double where the field slopes away from the outfielder, and as soon as it hits the ground, it hops right into the stands.
For Cairo, this will be his 26th double of the year. And you notice the split grip on the bat gives him bat control, flips this one down the line. O'Neill coming, trying to slide. Looks like he got caught up in the dirt down there. He doesn't slide as far as he would want to, and the ball drops in fair territory and then into the seats for the two-base hit. Good concentration, but the ball will fall in for the two-base hit, and Cairo's at second.
And here's native New Yorker John Flaherty. That's in for a strike. I think watching O'Neill break on that ball, we're seeing the evidence of these 4 o'clock starts where you don't quite see the ball off the bat. You probably played a few of those, and just a step or two of a late start will prevent you from catching the ball. Outside, 1-1 to Flaherty. Devil Ray catchers, both good throwers, particularly Mike DeFelice, who played last night. Flaherty just 3 home runs and 24 RBIs. Waves at the breaking ball.
Yeah, most of those 4 o'clock starts were on the West Coast, and you hated to hook up with Nolan Ryan on a day like that, because you had no chance. It was very difficult to see, and Nolan was, you knew he was just a few maybe hits away from another no-hitter if somebody didn't stick one in there early.
Just outside, 2-2. That is the only, and to my way of thinking, the only advantage of playing fall baseball at night. It is kinder to the outfielders. You remember over 30 years ago in that Oriole Dodgers series, Willie Davis lost several fly balls in the sun. O'Neill's got that one located. That's the second out of the inning. Cairo holds his ground.
Well, Yankee Stadium is notorious for left fielders this time of year, early in the season and late in the season. I can still remember Sandy Ambrose making that catch off a Yogi Berra's drive down a left field line here at the stadium, and had the sunglasses on, searching for the ball, and made a great play.
You can see the shadows that Shane Spencer and the rest of the outfielders have to contend. The haze, the late afternoon, early evening.
Yeah, I can remember my dad turning the TV on for me because I couldn't reach it.
You were that short, or it was that high? He had it up on the top shelf. Here's the speedy Quentin McCracken, popped out to Joe Girardi to start the ball game. Cone using all of his pitches, and it appears that his splitter and his breaking ball have been exceptionally sharp.
McCracken's been a hot hitter. Last 14 games, he's 20 for 58, trying to close off the year in style. He's had a tremendous year, as we mentioned in the previous games in this series. He's set a first-year expansion player record with the most hits, breaking the record set by Charlie Hayes.
In the air to center, Bernie Williams is there. And he puts it away. David Cone surrendered the little blue double to Cairo, but he has pitched very effective 3 innings, no score, as we head to the Yankee half of the third. Shane Spencer coming up. Now you see the late afternoon shadows here at the stadium as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And fans, don't miss the last game of the regular season tomorrow. Yankees will close it out against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. It's a 1:30 start, and it's Fan Appreciation Day, and the Yankees will honor Joe DiMaggio in a special ceremony. Compliments to the New York Times. Tickets available at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the clubhouse doors, and on the web. He has got some fans. Shane Spencer. He has shown the fans here in New York he can hit a fastball, a curve, and a change. That's what his home runs have been off in the last couple of games. In for a strike. That's high, 1-1. Again, the Midwest fans that are joining us courtesy of FX, not that familiar with Shane Spencer. That's what he's done through the first 25 games, comparable to what Kevin Moss did when he broke in with the Yankees. Left-hand hitting first baseman. There it goes, deep to left, near the track, looking up, and wow, do you believe it? Home run number 9 for Spencer. Baseball's hottest September player. You're looking at him. 1-0 Yankees. Take strike one. And the thing you love about Shane Spencer, you've heard the expression, act like you've done it before. I mean, he trots in like he's hit 50 or 60. Not getting overly full of himself over this hot streak. Another strike, and it's 0-2 to Brocious.
Just 2 away from going all the way around the board as far as Brocious is concerned. 98 RBIs. Shane's waving to the bleacher creatures out there in right field.
He picked up on that quickly. Brocious fouls that out of play, and Shane Spencer now leads the Yankees in September home runs. He's ahead of them all. Bernie Williams, Paul O'Neill. That's how the New York fans feel here. In the dirt. And again, we've got some Midwest fans we can bring up the data on Shane.
Shane brings the pain, and his ball is hurting after it's hit well over 400 feet to left center field for the homer.
Now, I wonder what that pitch, he went down and got it. I don't know, it looked like a changeup.
It looked like a changeup, yeah.
Changeup off Wilson Alvarez to right field the other night. Shane Spencer's been laboring in the minor leagues. That's ripped down the left field line. That'll be down in the corner. Brocious looks like he'll have a standing double, and he does. Scott keeps the average over 300.
Well, even if he doesn't get to 100 RBIs, he's had a heck of a year batting in the 7th, 8th, and 9th slots, driving in all those runs. This shot to the corner for Brocious will be his 34th double of the year. And how many times have we seen it right into that corner? Left fielder Bubba Trammell will go over there and dig it out. Got a foot fair. Rolls around out there. Tough left field to play once you get in that corner. Gets by you. It's triple, maybe an inside the park homer.
Still nobody out. Here's Joe Girardi. Yeah, they all want to rub up against Shane Spencer. Shows butt, takes ball one. Shane Spencer, a 28th round draft pick back in 1990. He's going to rub Derek Jeter's bat. Derek wants his 20th home run, so he had Spencer rub it up for him. So he has spent 9 seasons in the minor leagues. Shane's 26 years old, and about 4 years ago, Gene Michael said, hey, it's time. We got to find out if you can play or if you can't. He hadn't shown much the first 4 years, and that's when he began to show that power potential that he'd always had. Right at Cairo, and he drops it. So Girardi is going to reach first. Cairo took his eye off it, thinking he could double up Brocious. Error on the usually sure-handed Devil Rays second baseman, and the Yankees have 2 on, nobody out.
Yeah, he was looking for Ledesma to throw the ball to and try and complete the double play, doubling Brocious off, but instead didn't follow the ball into his glove. You can see him looking in the other direction, knocks it down. He's going to get an error, and Girardi will be safe on the error by the second baseman. So Miguel Cairo thinking ahead, but maybe thinking ahead a little too far.
That'll bring up Chuck Knobloch. Started the ball game with a base hit. Knobloch takes a shot to right, fouls that out of play.
You know, Kitty, you were mentioning Kevin Moss and Shane Spencer, and the comparisons to those two that came up and had good late seasons for the Yankees. I think one major difference between the two, Kevin Moss had 20 hits and was hitting .274, but out of his 20 hits, 17 of them went to right field, so only 3 to center or left field. Shane Spencer has used more of the whole field, which tells you there's a reason why he's hitting close to 400. He uses the whole field, hits better.
In the air to center. Brocious will tag. And he got it. Nice throw by Quentin McCracken. We told you about his throwing ability the other night. And Brocious unable to advance on the fly ball out by Knobloch. There are 2 down in the Yankee third.
While Brocious is thrown out, it's a good time to make the opportunity, try and make it. McCracken with his 18th assist of the year, that leads the American League. You can see the throw is right there for Bobby Smith to apply the tag. Well, you might read about all the assist totals for an outfield, but until you see him throw somebody out, you're not aware what type of arm he has. And we can see that McCracken, he can get there in a hurry.
Perfect one-hop strike. Here's Jeter as Girardi gets back in time. Yeah, back to your comments on Spencer. Because he's got that short, compact swing, very much like Bob Horner used to have during his great days with the Braves. He's hit pitches to right center, to center, and pull them. That gets away from Flaherty. Girardi will hold his ground.
Kind of reminds you of Bob Horner in his stature, too.
Somebody mentioned the name Ron Say the other night. I think he's a little taller than Say, and his swing is a little shorter. Greg Lazinski comes to mind, strictly when you talk short, compact swings. That's what Spencer has. Toward third base, Bobby Smith take the short way to Cairo. Girardi retired. But the Yankees get on the board courtesy of who else? The most home runs ever hit by a Yankee rookie in 1 month. Shane Spencer. Yankees by 1. Al Trautwig joins me after this.
Yoo-Hoo is proud to return as a sponsor of the New York Yankees in 1998. Yoo-Hoo, America's #1 chocolate drink. The Yankees and Yoo-Hoo, 75 years of the best of New York.
When baseball's hottest team has something.
Who else would provide the offer? You love this guy, don't you?
I do. I love this guy. I mean, he has taken these games and made them, you know, a bit of a baseball spectacle. I mean, he's got his own banners and fan clubs, and I mean, it's really getting crazy.
And he's got all of his teammates rubbing their bat for good luck.
Shane Spencer. And the Yankees are in front because of him. Aaron Ledesma with strike 1. What a gorgeous, warm, early fall day here in the Bronx. And everyone here in Yankee Stadium took a big gulp when David Cone took that bouncer off his belly. High fly to right. In the shade, O'Neill. 1 out. Let's take a look at Terrell Wade and David Cone. These are career numbers on the New York Marriott Marquee matchup. Cone is 167 and 93. That's very similar to Tom Glavine. ERA 3.18. He's compiled almost 2,400 innings, striking out just shy of a man an inning. And the control's been about 3-1 on the ratio scale. What a long, remarkable career. And Terrell Wade is trying to come back, as David Cone has, from injuries. That the Yankees would love to give David Cone sort of a little present, a 20th game here today. He's got to do his part by keeping the pitch count down.
Well, and he has so far. And if those of you at home followed the game, it's pretty typical of late September baseball when there's not a lot at stake. Everybody's swinging early in the count. Yankees have already made 4 outs on the first pitch, and Tampa Bay the same way. They're swinging early, so he is able to keep his pitch count well below the limit that Mel Stottlemyre has set for him.
Now 20 wins for David Cone would be significant because of how long it's been since he's done it. And while he'll live if he doesn't get it, you know, it's got to be irritating to have not gotten it in his last couple of chances. And it's like the 112 wins. I mean, you might as well grab a little ring every time you go around the carousel.
Yeah, even though pitchers will tell you that years you win 18 or 19, you'll say, or 17, you say, you know, I pitched better this year than the year I won 20. But it is the standard. And to go that long between 20-game seasons means that chances are you've had to come back from some arm injuries, maybe adjust your style a bit.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bobby Smith. Nice block by Girardi. Now listen to this, everybody. Since 1900, one player had the longest gap between 20-win seasons. To the chest of Girardi. He won 25 with the Minnesota Twins in 1966, and then he won 21 with the White Sox 8 years later. So David Cone is trying to do that. You know the person that I'm talking about as Smith draws the walk? Jim Cott.
Like I said, Al, it points out a couple of things. You're old.
But durable.
Right. You've had maybe some arm problems. And you have had to adjust maybe a different style than what you had when you were younger. And I think David Cone fits all of those. He's 35 years old.
What did it mean to you when you did it?
Oh, it meant a great deal, because unlike David Cone in 1973, I was probably, in 74, I was probably 1 start from having my career be over. I thought I was going to get released. I think I was like 4 and 8 or something like that. And then just like that, it turned around with the help of my good friend we acknowledged yesterday, Johnny Sain, turned 81 years old. So in my case, it was going from thinking my career was over to next thing you know, wow, 20 wins. So that was kind of a nice high.
Showed yourself and everybody else. Nice memory. 1-0 to Fred McGriff.
Cone going to go at McGriff with breaking pitches. Good splitter. Freddie hits 1 more home run. That'd be his 20th. 12 straight years he would do that. Put him in a category with Joe Carter, Lou Gehrig. Some pretty big names that have done that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he went through the zone. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here with 1 out and 1 on in the top of the 4th.
The guy who still holds the record, this is phenomenal. Most consecutive seasons with 20 home runs or more. Hank Aaron had 20 of them. Unbelievable. You know, he never hit 50.
Never hit 50.
But he hit a lot of them.
Beautiful pitch by David Cone. He rolled it in around the corner. He's got his strikeout pitches working today. He's got 4 of them.
Yeah, against the left-handers, McGriff and Sorrento, he uses the backdoor breaking ball. And no matter who he faces, that is perfectly positioned. Girardi set up right there. Barely had to move the target. Whoever he faces, Cleveland or Texas, will have enough left-hand hitters in that lineup that pitch will be useful.
Now the hitter for Tampa Bay is Bubba Trammell.
Yankees might be doing a bit of scoreboard watching just to see who they will play, and Seattle's off to a 4-0 lead against Texas. Cleveland plays tonight, so a Texas loss and a Cleveland win, that would mean the Yankees would be playing the Rangers.
It's got to be the team they've been thinking about all along. I mean, that race changed so fast. 0-2.
Well, Cleveland's got to be kicking themselves. They were in here kind of, sort of having some fun and relaxing. You can't blame them for that, but suddenly after 4 straight losses, they...
Did you see Mike Hargrove's face in the dugout last night when they walked in what became the winning run? I mean, he looked really beaten up. Fans into it here. David Cone rolling along. One more inning and he could be a winner. Just missing on the outside part of the plate. So on an 0-2 pitch, you might expect him to pitch it there. Atlanta beat the Mets 4-0. Chicago's getting it going. San Francisco leading. Colorado 7-3. Runner going, and it doesn't matter because Bubba Trammell is down swinging. 5 strikeouts for David Cone. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees up 1-0. Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams due to the plate. He's been tough. Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. We're back live on MSG, exit 23 of the Major Deegan. We'll bring you right here, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Joe Torre, Don Zimmer, Joe Girardi discussing something in the Yankee dugout as it's Paul O'Neill, my mistake, not Derek Jeter, leading things off in the bottom of the 4th.
I think what that's in regard to, Al, this is kind of in the dugout teaching that we've seen Joe Torre do. Remember when the Yankees had first and second, nobody out? Girardi was at first, Brocious was at second, Brocious got thrown out at third.
Yeah.
I think Joe is explaining to Joe Torre to Joe Girardi what he should have done on that play, that perhaps he could have tagged up and advanced on the throw to third. I think that's what that discussion was about.
Once he saw that they made the commitment to make the throw to third. Well, here's our 1998 Yankee of the Year, Paul O'Neill. And a difficult choice.
And a bit of a surprise choice to me. As much as, I've seen this guy and respected him and loved him since 1984 when I saw him come up as a young kid with the Reds. I really thought that, my selection was Jeter. I thought all around what Jeter does, but like Paul said in his interview with you, can't make a bad choice.
Trouble in left. Oh, that legendary Yankee Stadium sun claims Bubba Trammell as a victim. And all the way to third goes O'Neill. The throw is in time. He'll be the second Yankee to be thrown out at third base. And suddenly for Bubba Trammell, it doesn't hurt so bad. And Paul O'Neill makes the first out of the inning at third base.
Yeah, and he knows it's a bad decision. Good time to make it in games like this. Typical O'Neill at bat. He takes a breaking ball, and there's the sun you're talking about, Al, as well as slipping onto turf. Bubba Trammell spends most of his time as a DH. And while he's shagging it down, Paul O'Neill suddenly he says, wow, all those stolen bases I got, I can fly. And he gets thrown out at third by plenty.
So not the wise choice. Boy, it's a good thing we did the voting before this play, huh?
Well, the good thing is he didn't do any kind of a slide where you're going to hurt yourself. He just made a bad judgment there.
Now it's Bernie Williams. Bernie got some votes. Basically what happened in our voting was that Bernie, David Wells, and Derek Jeter split. They were even across the board, and O'Neill just had a shade more. Bernie had a couple of hits yesterday, plus he didn't get charged with the at-bats in which he walked, so he did a good job in his race with Mo Vaughn. Here's the way it is right now in the New York Presbyterian batting leaders, and we got to go to a 4th digit here to separate these two. 3360 to 3355. That's fouled off, so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Just on a personal note, when we looked at those batting leaders, you saw Eric Davis in there at 325. If he keeps his average up, our partner Ken Singleton still holds the single season average record for the Orioles.
Really?
Batting average at 321, I think Kenny said. So if Davis hangs on, he could set that mark for the Orioles.
See, Kenny drinks a lot of fluids in his inning off. Bernie fouls another one off. So
innings today.
What?
Innings off today.
Right.
We've got a quartet.
Susan Waldman will be along for the next 3. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill probably took a very brisk step as he went in front of Joe Torre in the dugout after getting back there. Down the line and right, fairly deep. And the catch on the run out there in right field by Rich Butler. Bernie is retired. There are 2 away. Well, it doesn't get any easier than the Delta Airlines schedule right now. It's tomorrow. And our coverage begins at 1 o'clock on MSG. And then we want to remind you that Tuesday's Game 1 begins at 8 on Fox, locally on Channel 5. On Wednesday, they're going to switch it over to Channel 4. So you're going to have to stay sharp, check your listings, and then we will have special playoff editions of the MSG Sports Desk when those games are completed. So basically, when Fox says goodbye, we say hello and come on with all the replays, analysis, Mike Kay, you know, the usual stuff.
So keep your remote handy.
Got to always have it handy.
Have it locked in where you go to that last channel. Bing, bing.
Yep. Well, most good remotes have a jump on it, you know, where you can go between your 2 favorite channels.
Yeah. Rockies, Larry Walker hit a solo home run. They've closed the gap there now 7-4 San Francisco in the 6th inning. It's like he's going to win the National League batting title.
The Mets can't root hard enough for the Colorado Rockies.
And the Houston Astros. Astros up 1-0 over the Cubs in the 3rd.
Martinez barely deep to right center field. And at the wall, it's gone. Number 28 for number 24. Solo home runs, the difference on the day. 1 for that guy, Shane Spencer, and 1 for Tino Martinez. Other than that, Terrell Wade's got to feel okay about the way he's pitching in the game.
Tino pretty good at hitting the high fastball. Let's see what this is. Flaherty wants it out there, and it's above the belt. So many lefties are low ball hitters, but Tino gets on top of that high one.
Back live, a single for Chili Davis. Well, with 2 outs, the Yankees have a man on.
And guess who's coming up?
The man.
Good at bat for Chili Davis, and he needs him going into postseason play. Turned on an inside pitch, and that might be the hardest we've seen Chili hit the ball for quite some time. Good line drive single.
So Torre's got to like that. He says he thinks Chili's ready, you know, and that he's swinging the bat fast enough and doing everything he needs to do. Shane Spencer from El Cajon, California, looking like he lives in the Bronx. And look, this is unbelievable, the response of the fans. Crushed it to the bullpen of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. He stands at 9. Swings at the first pitch, down the line, and in play. And he's out. And you can hear the from just about everybody in the crowd. So it's 2-0 for the Yankees, courtesy of this swing of Tino Martinez. He went up in the zone and got it. Back in a moment on MSG.
Yoo-Hoo is proud to return as a sponsor of the New York Yankees in 1998. Yoo-Hoo, America's #1 chocolate drink. The Yankees and Yoo-Hoo, 75 years of the best of New York.
Strike 3. That's a K for Rabu. Strike 3. Swing and a miss. Hang another K. Strike 3. Another
okay anymore.
Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. George Washington Bridge in the distance. Hi, everybody. Al Troutwig with Susan Waldman. Now, you're here for 3 innings today.
3 innings.
All right, so it's a bonus. What did it have on the scoreboard?
They had on the scoreboard when Shane Spencer came up, home runs. It said Sosa 66, McGuire 66, Shane Spencer 9.
See, Shane's problem is he's just running out of time. He's only got one more day to catch those guys.
This is what happens when you win 112 games. And you're just playing sort of spring training game and getting everybody back together.
1-1. The hitter is Paul Sorrento, wrapping up a disappointing season. 225 with 17 home runs and 57 RBIs. And I guess he largely reflects what the Tampa Bay Devil Rays need more of. They need better offensive production.
The problem with guys like Sorrento and McGriff, the same thing, is because there really aren't any big hitters in the lineup, they don't have to pitch to these guys. So they're just pitching around them. So you see all the strikeouts that Sorrento has. He's not going after good pitches. He's swinging at anything, trying to get something done, and it backfires.
They're like hitting islands in the ocean, you know? 3-1 pitch and a beauty. Had a lot of pop on that delivery. Full count.
Cone seems to have no ill effects from getting hit in the stomach, and that is a beauty right down the middle of the plate with a little tail on the end there. We were hyperventilating in the back when David Cone got hit.
Yeah, Yankee fans were not liking that moment.
You know, David Cone wants to get this 20th win, and Joe Torre said, it's up to you. You're only allowed a certain amount of pitches. We're getting you out of there. However many innings you can get with this pitch count, you can have.
Broken bat, fly ball down the line. And Tino Martinez settles under it. No shades needed. 1 out in the Devil Rays 5th. Now it's Rich Butler who's playing right field today for Tampa Bay. Susan, we were talking last night. The one thing you have to say about the Yankees is that they appear ready in just about every respect. The bullpen has shut the opposition down. Most of the hitters look like they're swinging the bat right. They're crisp in the field.
And we can all trace that back to one night in Tampa, can't we? That 7-0, and there's the man of the hour. Joe Torre walked into that locker room after that 7-0 debacle, and he gave them what for.
Line drive just beyond the reach of Chuck Knobloch.
That ball really seemed to take off there. Good play by Knobloch. He thought that he had it lined up there. Coming off the bat here. Just gets a piece of it, gets underneath, and Knobloch thinks he's got it, but it sails at the last minute just over his glove and into the field. Butler just gets enough of it to get it over Knobloch's head. I think Knobloch was unaware that it was really going to take off that much. I think he thought he had it there. Phooey, he says.
Now the Yankees have dominated Tampa Bay in the first 2 games of the series. Lead today 2-0, and it would have even been worse for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays were it not for Miguel Cairo. He's driven in all 3 of the runs that they've scored. 1 yesterday and 2 in game 1.
And one of the nice, not surprises for Larry Rothschild, but Cairo really looks like he's settled in as the second baseman of the future there.
1 ball and 1 strike.
One thing that you like about a kid is when he doesn't get fooled with those same kinds of pitches. There's Larry Rothschild on the outside of the plate, and you saw Cone has been getting away with that with some of the other youngsters on this team. Cairo's not biting, or hasn't yet.
A little punch to right. That's going to fall. Butler all the way to third. And the Devil Rays have a little something cooking here in the 5th inning.
Now that was the same pitch on the outside part of the plate, but the great plate coverage that Miguel Cairo got on that, he was able to loft it into right field. See, same pitch outside of the plate. Miguel was ready for it, saw right where it was going, and just went with it right into right field. Nice piece of hitting.
Yeah, you just took the words right out of my mouth. That really was. So now it's John Flaherty. He's the 9th hitter in the order. Cone would love to get a ground ball to turn this into an inning ender right here. Fastball for a strike.
Staying on that outside part of the plate. Flaherty not having a good year with the bat at all. Still is a tremendous catcher. Was hurt at the beginning of the year.
And a nice guy, New Yorker, too.
Yeah, terrific kid. Really a good defensive catcher, which is what you need on a team that's trying to get a lot of kids in and get people to the next level.
Oh, 0-2. Cone jumps out in front.
And that also is what happens when you get a little anxious. Flaherty's hitting .300 on this road trip at only .209 outside part of the plate. And that just has great movement on the end of it, and Flaherty has no chance.
Fans get involved on the 0-2. Flaherty is not biting.
Wastes one up high. Sometimes a guy will go after a pitch like that in an 0-2 count. Cone's ready, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, I would say. Baseball news continues to be rewritten by one Mark McGwire.
Oh, my gosh.
His journey through the stratosphere now has reached 67 home runs. He has the lead, and they have the lead, 1-0. Can Sosa respond?
Well, they got to tell him. They usually do it within an hour of each other, right?
Runner going. Little bloop for Knobloch, and they're going to throw home Girardi. And they're going to tag Rich Butler out. Oh, man.
Now, that was heads-up play by the Yankees and a typical expansion team. Look at Larry Rothschild just getting picked off like that. And this team is ready. Just see Knobloch waiting. This is a terrific bit of fielding by the Yankees, and the fans are responding in kind. Look at Knobloch, looks immediately, throws to Girardi, runs him back. That's what you're supposed to do. So Brocious is right there. Perfect rundown, so Torrey doesn't have to yell at anybody.
There it is, 4-2-5. And Joe Torre might want to cast a little wink at Mike Figa and say, Mike, remember that rundown we had earlier this week that didn't work out right? There's how you do it. You take those 2 extra steps.
Run the guy back.
So now, what a break for David Cone. In a low-run game, he's going to get a ground ball to Knobloch, Martinez. The Devil Rays stand 2, and David Cone is now in a position to win number 20 if the Yankees can hold on to their 2-0 lead. Bottom of the 5th, next. There were many, many Yankee fans who have come here today who made a contribution, a most special contribution to help out a little 2-month-old baby that needs to have brain surgery. The son of one Ernie Breen. Yankee players, Yankee wives, led by Jeff Nelson and his wife Colette. Chad Curtis's wife, Andy Pettit's wife, El Duque's girlfriend. I hesitate to list them all. Tim Raines' wife is there on the right. The Yankees in total, that's Colette in the back. Jeff went around the clubhouse yesterday and had Yankee players autograph, I think it was 60 dozen baseballs, and they were put in bags. And for $50 today, you got a Yankee autograph ball, and then, of course, that was sort of at random who you got. But this money is going to subsidize the surgery for this poor little boy who, Mr. Breen does not have the insurance money because he retired from the New York City Police Department when he was single. Then after he left, as I'm told, he got married and they had the baby. And so he's not covered, and he's in a bind. $60,000 worth of a bond. And the Yankee wives and the players didn't completely reach that goal today. Their hearts are in the right place. Joe Torre has made a big donation. Chuck Knobloch is going to a really, really nice thing. And as Colette Nelson said to me, she said, you know, all year long I've been listening to you and Ken and Jim and Susan and Mike and John and saying what a great collection of people these Yankees are. She said, well, it's true. Today is proof. So out there, say a prayer for that little guy, and maybe more if you want.
And you saw out there Laura Pettit and Lisa Knobloch, and Chad Curtis's wife was out there. Scott Broch is up to 303 now, Al, and Joe Torre wants this guy to hit 300 and get those 100 RBIs by the end of tomorrow.
Well, he stands at 98.
With the batting 303, and after his year last year, we've been saying all year there is no happier Yankee than Scott Brochus. And what a thing it would be for him if he could keep his average over 300 and get those 100 RBIs.
That would be a tough award to figure out. Happiest Yankee.
This guy's got it hands down.
No, Derek Jeter, I think.
No, but Derek started happy. This guy was in Oakland a year ago hitting 210. Well, maybe Shane Spencer now qualifies.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Those creative Yankee fans. Susan, did you see last night? Somebody put a W up here for every one of the 111 wins.
I did see that.
It's unbelievable.
Did you also see the sign, I love Derek, and Derek is crossed out and Shane is there?
Yeah. Oh, everybody looks all right. Got to stay alert.
I think you're right. We'll make a special category for happiest Yankee. El Duque gets #1.
Yes,
for everything.
Right.
And then we'll get to level 2.
Once you survive the man-eating sharks in the Atlantic, you know, you can't be anything but.
Yeah, he doesn't get to be in this category.
3-2 to Brochus. Ground ball to third. Brochus may slide down to 302 with that put out. Susan mentioned the speech, shall we call it, that Joe Torre gave to the Yankees after their loss in Tampa Bay. Well, he's got to love their response. This is as good as we've played all year. You want to go into the playoffs feeling good about yourself, and we're feeling pretty good about ourselves right now. He knows the buttons, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And some of the players I talked to after that night in Tampa, one guy said to me, oh my gosh, was he mad.
Here's a base hit for Joe Girardi that could be for more than one. He's going to challenge, and the throw from Trammell will not be intended to get him out. So he's in there standing. A 1-out double.
And you see once again Joe Girardi getting his swing down in playoff readiness. Takes that fastball, gets around on it, turns it into the left field corner. Bubba's having some trouble out there in left field, isn't he?
Well, he's really happy because the sun is almost all gone.
Ricky Anderson used to say, everyone thinks they can come in here and play left field, but they can't.
Trammell out there in left maybe has about 5 more minutes of sun. Chuck Knobloch made the heads-up play last inning when he got that little bloop through home. Yankees prevented the Devil Rays from scoring, and high fists all around. And you see that was his little patented one with Tim Raines.
Yeah, you really see Knobloch, I think, Al, sort of lifting it up to another level here in the last few weeks anyway, particularly defensively, seems to really be bearing down.
High bouncer at short, and just beating out the throw was Chuck Knobloch. Or getting beaten out by the throw was Chuck Knobloch. Well, it's hockey time, Susan. And MSG's got Rangers hockey Wednesday at 7:30. It's the Rangers and the 2-time defending champion Detroit Red Wings. Then Friday, October 9th, they play for real, the Rangers and the Philadelphia Flyers. Right here on MSG.
You know what a shocker that was? And when Headline News had the first time they had a full slate of hockey games a week ago, I was staring at what?
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
Be?
Yeah. Except this time it really did feel like a long time since I saw the Rangers, because you know, when you don't make the playoffs. Derek Jeter. Ball one.
Saw Derek Jeter rubbing up against Shane Spencer's bat, trying to get some luck, trying to get that 20th home run.
Well, let's see if it pays off. This is the bat. 2-0. Terrell Wade, the starting pitcher for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Last we checked, the Mets were losers 4-0. Houston was leading the Cubs 1-0 early. That was in the third. In the sixth, Larry Walker had gotten Colorado to within 3 of the charging San Francisco Giants. Base hit down the line. Extra bases for Derek Jeter. Yankees are going to get a run. And he's at second base with his 84th RBI. What a year. Hit the ball very hard.
And another great piece of hitting by Derek Jeter, staying inside that pitch, getting around on it beautifully. Now you remember, Al, that was something that Derek Jeter worked on in spring training, being able to get around on that inside pitch and not being fooled on it after being pitched outside. Derek now doing that just great. He was talking to Darryl Strawberry about the '86 Mets and whether they had a little letdown and how they got to gear it up. There's Darryl. Says his legs are feeling a lot better. But he says it's really natural because when the team was in Baltimore.
O'Neill, maybe a play over by the photographers, and just beyond the reach of Bobby Smith.
When the team was in Baltimore, I asked some of the Orioles about the letdown last year, and they were saying that, like Darryl had said about the '86 Mets, the Orioles last year went 12-15 in the month of September, as did the Cleveland Indians. You just can't play this way for an entire year. You just have to be able to gear up. And Darryl was just telling stories about the '86 Mets and when they started to gear up towards the playoffs. It was about a week and a half before the season ended, and by the time that '86 regular season was over, they were back where they should have been.
It's like asking a great sprinter to run as hard after he crosses the finish line as he does to get to the finish line. You just don't do it. Yeah, Darryl and Joe Torre noticed this. Last night, Darryl stole a base, ran out, and beat a ground out at first base. And Joe said, I know Darryl was trying to show me his legs were fine. O'Neill's behind 1 and 2.
Well,
I know Joe would like to see Paul O'Neill get a couple of hits before the season was over.
O'Neill fooled on this one out over the plate, and he knows it. Good pitch by Terrell Wade. Gets Paul O'Neill way out in front.
And O'Neill will stay alive. Susan, you were not available the day that we locked everyone in the hotel room in Tarrytown without room service to pick the MSG Yankee Player of the Year. So unfortunately you weren't included in the voting, but just for the record, who was your pick?
For the Yankee of the Year?
Yeah.
I would have picked Derek Jeter.
Okay.
I know O'Neill's been incredible, had a great year. I think Derek Jeter is the one Yankee they could not have survived the season without.
Well, the voting was close. And O'Neill throws the bat down in disgust. It's been in a bit of a rough stretch. Ken Singleton will rejoin Susan Waldman. I'll see you on the postgame with Michael Kay. Right now, David Cohn's up 3-0.